During the middle of the COVID pandemic, the Lord dealt with me about releasing a new training about how to be in the middle of a pandemic and yet not fear, but instead just be able to trust God as your protection. And so out of that, we created a new training called How to Walk in Divine Protection, Not Fear. As a teacher, somebody who is called to the classroom, you're called to be there. But this is a time like no other in our history. We were in the middle of a COVID crisis. You've got mass shootings. You've got just most recently a 6-year-old child in Virginia that's being accused of shooting his teacher. This is a time that is much more dangerous than any other times that we've been in. And yet, the Bible tells us over and over, do not fear. So what are we supposed to do? I said, all right, Lord, you got to teach me this. How do we walk in divine protection and not in fear? And the first thing that he said to me is, you call for it. You have dominion. I said, all right. He also said, Psalm 91 is a promise of divine protection. He said, you just have to take advantage of it. I said, all right, Lord, you're going to have to show me how to walk in it, right? And so that's what we're going to do with this video. We're going to teach you how to walk in divine protection and not fear. The first step that the Lord gave me to do this is to declare, right, or to say. The first step in walking in this, honey, is you decide, I will say, I will declare my protection. In verse 2 of Psalm 91, it says, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge, my fortress, my God, in him I will trust. Now, the second step is you got to believe that. The Bible talks about believing with your heart and saying with your mouth. That's in Romans, right? This is no different. When it comes to your safety, your protection, it is no different. You've got to believe it in your heart and say it with your mouth. You've got to trust that what you are declaring about Psalm 91 in terms of safety and protection is true, that you are protected. You've got to believe it. And that leads me to the second step, trust. You have to trust that he is your divine protection. So what's the third step? The third step is you've got to abide. The place where you abide right now is your place of residence, whether that's an apartment building, whether it's a hotel, a house, wherever you abide, that's where you reside. That's where you live. That's where you dwell. We're supposed to abide, live, dwell in a place of safety, according to Psalm 91. Psalm 91 says we're supposed to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's where that trust comes in. You've got to trust that you are dwelling under his protection. You have to trust that you are dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. The Bible tells us we can run into the name, right? We can run, that the name of the Lord is a strong tower, that the righteous run into it and are safe. There's that abiding in that safe place, that trust that we have, that we're hiding in him, that we are abiding in him, that we have made him our safe dwelling place, despite whatever is going on around us. So what does that look like? That can be as simple as declaring, Lord, I abide in the secret place of the Most High. You are my God. You are my fortress. You are my dwelling place. In you I trust. And then stay there, abide there, no matter what you're seeing, feeling, hearing through the news or whatever. You stay in that secret hiding place. As a matter of fact, I would do this in the morning on your way to school. You declare Psalm 91 over yourself, that you abide in the secret place of the Most High. That's how you begin to walk in divine protection. There is actually another way that you can begin to walk in safety and protection and that be in that dwelling place. In addition to being able to begin declaring Psalm 91 over yourself and trusting that it's true and beginning to abide in that place, you can also dwell in divine protection by learning to plead the blood over yourself. If you are born again, the blood of Jesus has made you righteous, and you can declare it. If you are born again, the blood of Jesus enables you to plead the blood. As a matter of fact, you have a right to plead the blood. Romans 5:9 says we have been justified by the blood. So you have a right, a blood-bought right. If you are saved, if you are born again, you have a blood-bought right to declare and to plead the blood of Jesus. You can also cancel any assignments that are against you. So what is the power of the blood? Honey, you got to go back. You got to go back to Exodus to find that out. So in Exodus chapter 12, verse 13 through 38, it talks about how the Israelites began to use the Passover lamb's blood and began to use that to protect them from the plagues that were hitting Egypt. Now, this is what I need you to picture. The plagues are hitting everybody else. But when that plague of death, which was that last plague, when that plague saw the blood of the Passover lamb on their doorposts and on their door frames, as they had been instructed to do, honey, it had to pass over them. That's what that term means. So guess what? Our modern day Passover, our Passover lamb that we were saved by is Jesus. And so we can declare the blood of the Passover lamb. We can declare the blood of Jesus. We can declare it over our households. You can declare it over your classroom. You can declare it over yourself. If you are born again, you are saved, you can begin declaring that over your children, over your students. You can declare it over your household. You can plead the blood that you are saved, that you are protected, that there is no plague, no pestilence, no sudden death or destruction that shall come near you. And you can add that in as you're declaring Psalm 91, that 1,000 may fall at one side, 10,000 at your right, but it shall not come near you, because you have declared Psalm 91, because you have pled the blood of Jesus over yourself. If you are saved, you have a right to do this. So in the Old Testament, in Exodus, death and destruction had to pass over those who were protected by the blood of the Lamb. Well, honey, we can still engage in Passover today. Death and destruction still have to pass by if we're declaring and pleading the blood of Jesus. Now, this teaching has been a blessing to you. I want you to like and subscribe and tell somebody about it so they can benefit too.